Krishna. Radhe Radhe. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 5.
Hare Krishna.
Can you see? As long as we have Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada in there. Good. Beautiful.
Yes, it's live and no one is sitting there.
Okay. But Thakurji's there.
Okay. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jiva Bhavana Prabhu Gopalji. Radhe Radhe. Hari
Srila
Bol.
Gurudev ki
Jai.
jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Pandu Guru Varga ki jai. Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Prem Purushottam Shachinandan Gaura Hari
ki jai.
Shri Shri Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai. Radha Raman Ju ki jai. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So, welcome to another, well, for most of you it's probably morning, for us it's evening. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vino Bihari Mandir in Shri Vrindavan Dham.
In Gopinath Bhavan.
In Gopinath Bhavan, next to Unlitala on the banks of Yamuna. We will start with Mangalacharan in this book, Shri Gauriya Gita Gucha, page 1, Vandeham Shri Guru, Vande apostrophe Ham. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnava Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahavana Radhunatham Vikam Sajivam Sarvekam Savadhutam Arjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahavana Lalika Shri Vishakam Vitamshra Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Adalya Madhurya Gunashcha Yuktam Varam Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirasa Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Shri Krishna Padabjitaika Hridvi Chaitanya Lila Amrita Sarasara Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaura Pristhaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshavo Nityanamine Patimadhyacharitraya Svashrihanam Chapanine Jiva Dukhe Sadarta Saraswati iti namine Shri Varshabharami Devi Daikaya Kripabhage Krishna Sambandha Vigyana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojvala Premadhya Shri Numanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Vimakarine Rupanugam Virudhapa Siddhanta Dvanvaharine Namo Gaur Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagyamurtaye Vipralambhara Sambodhe Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidanandanamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugambharayate Gauravirbhava Bhumestvam Nirdeshtha Sajana Priyam Vaisnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jaganathayate Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaganyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurathishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhansute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Mandam Matirgati Vatsarvasva Padam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadam Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastho Shri Shri Radha Srila Govinda Devo Preshthani Sevyamano Smarami Shri Mandra Sarasarambhi Vamshivartattatastitaha Kashamenu Smaray Gopi Gopinatha Shri Estunaha Vrindaye Tulasi Devyai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Deve Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupasvarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitarinam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Gurivardhanam Pradipadam Purnamritashadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Hare Nam Hare Nam Hare Nam Eva Kevalam Halo Nastyeva 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 Gatiram Yata Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So we'll begin with Gurudev, Kripa Bindu Diya. Are the lights on?
That one is.
Should I go top? Can you put the lights on Thakurji?
Sorry. Thank you.
So Subi's having a night off.
Since Subi's having a night off, I'm going to have to take her position playing Mridanga drum.
Not off, rest. So Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, page 32 in the small book. Thank you so much, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, for adding it to the thread as always. Thank you. Dandavat Pranam. Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Koro Elas Vina Pe Paya
Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Guru Vedas Vina Pekhaya
Sakala Sahame Varadiya Kara Nijamane Brihadina
Sakala Sahane Malladiya Guru Nijamane Srihadina
Kripa Bindu Diya Koro Elas Vina Pekaya
Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Guru Vedas Vina Pekhaya
Sakale Sama Korite Shakati Lehanata Jata Jata
Sakale Soman Purite Shakti Dehonatha Jatha Jata
Kave to gaiva Harinama Sukhe
Kave to gaiva Harinama Sukhe
Aparadha
Last time we had a massive crash.
Vaisnava.
Page 43. Thakura Vaishnava Gana. Kori E Nivedana. Thakura. Vaishnava. Gana. There's two different Thakur Vaishnava ones. This one has Gana, Gana. Thakura Vaishnava Gana Kori E Nivedana. Thakura Vaishnava Gana Kori E Nivedana. O Thakura Vaishnava Page 61, Nitai Gunamaniyama. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita भगवान श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की Kabe aha Gauranga Bolia, page 80 in this book by Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, starting K-A-B-E, Kabe aha. Kabe aha Gauranga Bolia. রাখিও চরণে ব্রহ্মিব সকল ধাম বৈষ্ণব দেখিয়া হরিব চরণে হৃদয়ের বন্ধু জানি বন্ধু জানি বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর প্রভুর কীর্তন দেখাইবে দাসমানি ও কবে আহা গৌরাঙ্গ বলিয়া কবে আহা গৌরাঙ্গ বলিয়া জয় সচিনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি জয় সচিনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি ও গৌর হে গৌর হে গৌর হে গৌর হে प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय कृष्णदेव कृष्णदेव भवन्तं वन्दे 343 starting with Krishna Deva K-R-S-N-A D-E-V-A. In some books it starts with Deva Bhavantam Vande D-E-V-A. कृष्णदेव भवन्तं वन्दे ओ कृष्णदेव भवन्तं वन्दे Jai
Just a forewarning so that when we chant the Mahamantra, one devotee on the thread here named Jagadas, he's saying a lovely Gurukul boy named Prahlad was knocked off his bike by a car. He's in a coma and fighting for his life. He is responding to sound. I beg you to please pray and chant for him. He was born in Vrindavan and currently resides in Watford. So if all the devotees, when we chant the Mahamantra, if we can send that beautiful prayer, that Krishna can give him his blessings fully. Whether he stays, whether he goes is up to the Lord, but that we should send all of our good vibration and affection and hope and prayer to this young man.
At this time, there's a lot of difficulty in the world, whether one is being knocked down by COVID or by anything else. It's quite obvious that there's a very strong, intense influence. Just the other day, someone that we went to Gurukul with, who grew up with us, I remember when she was born, she just passed away after having a long time disease and suffering. She's younger than we are, but anyhow, she just passed away the other day. Her name was Manjari. Sister Paramakuruna, daughter of Amarendra Prabhu and Gayatri. Amarendra Prabhu was a lawyer for ISKCON, and he did a lot of service for Srila Prabhupada. So their daughter, Manjari, just passed away. Also, Jayanti, who's with us every day, her stepmother just passed away. Was that due to COVID? Or related?
I don't believe it was. I'm not sure.
She also had long-time illness, so her stepmother just passed away.
And she also asked.
And she also requested that we can pray. So, as we've mentioned previously, there's so many who are passing away from this world at this time. And Gurudev explained that if we're praying for ourselves, it might not be so pure because we have so many other desires within our hearts, but generally we can actually offer more pure prayers for others, because Gurudev even sometimes would make a joke that we might be for ourselves, oh please give me mercy, but we're not really willing to take, but oh you should be a pure devotee. So we can pray on behalf of these persons that may Krishna bless them, may the Vaishnavas bless them, may they be able to attain a better situation which is favorable for bhakti, whether or not they are leaving this world. And really it's for all of us, but especially at this time for those who have just departed, because their souls are in a transition. We can offer some of the benefit of our bhakti practices for their benefit. The same with Ekadashi. It's not that we lose anything ourselves, but we can also share some of that benefit with them. So please especially pray for Prahlad and Manjari and the stepmother of Jayanti. Thank you.
You see her as Jane Allison, generally on the post.
One Radhika.
Prabhu asked for Radhanam Paramasukadai.
Okay.
Do you think you can do it?
I might be able to do Radhanam Paramasukadai. Jiva Pavan Prabhu requested. I'm not accustomed to doing it just with Tanpura sound, but we can see.
Does that have to be put up on the thread? Because it's not in the book, right?
It's in the book.
It is? Radhanam Paramasukadai, page 362. Page 362.
What page again?
362.
Oh, it'll be right up to there. It's meant to be.
For those of you who don't have the book, Jiva Pavana Prabhu has added it to the thread. Thank you, Prabhuji. It's right there at the bottom. So.
Radhanam Parama Sukadai. Mon
Just one more time in case we forgot, we are also trying to remember to send out some prayers to this Prahlad, to Jayanti, Jane Allison's stepmother, and also to our Gurukul friend Manjari, who's also departed. And all of us together are in this. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj said the only way out, really, out of this suffering and samsara is the chanting of the holy name. So chanting for the benefit of others, but also for the benefit of ourselves. We should chant loudly and with so much hope.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
You just have to tell them if they do it
I'll just...
Haribol!
Take it. He wants to sell me laundry soap and water.
These are important things during lockdown.
Yes. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namine Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Nangayate Giri Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times unto the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Astottara Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaja. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam unto the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Astottara Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, to all of our Rupanuga Guru Varga, and my Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today. My Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
So a question was asked, and someone tagged me in it. And the question was, how does one surrender to Sri Guru? Because we always hear about surrender, and really also this book is that subject. Following the instruction of Guru, submitting, surrendering, accepting their instruction. How does one surrender? So this question was asked to our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And he gave a very interesting answer. Because a lot of times when we hear the word surrender, especially in our language, the English language, surrender means, all right, I'm done, I have no more power, I cannot fight anymore, so I give up. White flag in the air, hands up in the air, gun to my head, surrender. But spiritual surrender, our Gurudev explained, is not that. Spiritual surrender is a very different thing. And so we should endeavor to try to understand the words not according to our own English definition. I know the word is translated into the word surrender, but we should try to understand the words in the contexts of how our Guru Varga have presented them. There's a lot of words like humility. We understand it one way. They're trying to explain it a different way. And this word surrender is also different. Sharanagat does not mean, or Sharanagati does not mean, I give up, I'm done fighting, now you win. Our Gurudev actually asked a question in return to one devotee who asked that question. He said, why did you come to pick me up at the airport? Why are you driving me? And the devotee said, because I want to. Because I want to serve you, because I want to please you. And he said, why? The devotee said, because I have affection for you. He said, this is devotional surrender. To do something, to submit yourself, to place yourself in a situation where you are serving out of affection because you want to. It's different than because you have to. In this case, surrender is not a forced thing. When Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, Krishna didn't force him. He just gave him all of the convincing arguments and then said, now do what you want. Do what you want. Make your choice, make your decision. And Arjuna then said, now I am a soul surrendered to you. I'm accepting you as my guru and I'm coming as your disciple. Whatever you instruct me to do, I will do. Because he had faith, because he had affection. So how does this mood develop within the heart by which one can or is even willing to surrender? According to the definition given by our acharyas. If surrender is out of faith and affection, then one, we need to develop trust and faith. That's essential and important. And faith and trust is something which develops over time, generally. It may be that it has come from previous lifetimes and it's instantaneous. But in this life, generally, according to Shastra, one should examine the personality that they are prospectively going to submit to or surrender unto, that they're going to give their faith to, their trust. And that person will also examine us for our sincerity, for our trust. Are we really sincere? But there should be some examination period. That examination period is recommended by all of our Guru Varga. Even my Gurudev, when he first came to America in 1996, he didn't tell me, you should surrender to me. He just said, you should come in process, according to Shastra, and accept initiation, diksha, into spiritual life by any bona fide guru. He didn't say to me.
As you're speaking about surrender, Devaki Didi is just saying how to even get the taste to want to surrender as well, if you can add that into this discussion.
So when Gurudev spoke these words, that in itself increased trust in my heart. Why? Because he wasn't trying to take me for himself. So I was seeing certain qualities about him. He was saying, take initiation from any bona fide spiritual master, but you should come in process so that you can follow the path of bhakti. Because bhakti, the first step is to submit unto the lotus feet of any bona fide spiritual master. So gradually over time, when you see the character of someone, and that character is beautiful, that character is impeccable, that character is something that you say in your heart, yes, I want to be like this person. I want to emulate the qualities, the character of this person. I want to be near this person. This person is overflowing with love and devotion for Krishna, with bhakti. And when I come in their presence, I also feel inspiration to move on the path of devotion. Then naturally, when this faith begins to develop and this trust begins to develop, spontaneously you want to do something for that person. As with any relationship, I'm feeling so much in my heart. I'm feeling some indebtedness. I also want to give something to you. So we give the best thing we can. What is our value? We value money. So we'll give money. Or we'll give something. Here's some fruit or some grains or some anything that you may be able to use in seva. And as a result of that, they see, oh, you are trying to reciprocate with your currency of value. But they accept that. As Sri Ramachandra accepted the particle of sand or the small pebbles thrown by the squirrel. Although Hanuman could carry massive mountains, this squirrel could only flick pebbles, but still, Ramachandra saw that this was the best he could give, and he accepted it like that.
As much as Hanumanji carrying a mountain.
Of equal value, because he was doing the best he could according to his adhikar. So, Hanuman could have carried bigger mountains. This squirrel was doing the best he could. So Sri Ram accepted it as equal to, or if not more, because he was giving everything he could in service. So when Sri Guru sees, oh, you are reciprocating, then this relationship begins to develop. The dati, you are giving, pratigrinati, and receiving. We give what we can of our heart, what we consider valuable. And what do they have in their heart? They're also trying to reciprocate, but they don't have material wealth. They don't have any material belongings. They're akinchan niskinchan. Means without anything of this material world. What is saturating their heart? Krishna Bhakti Rasa. So they tell us Harikatha. And by this our hearts become closer, more tightly bound. Guhyamakyati Prichati. Then we share what's going on in our hearts and our minds. Gurudev, I have all of these problems. I have so many worries. I have this, and please help me. I want what you have. Please help me. And then he reveals his mind in confidence. You're giving the best of what you have. And what do we have? A bunch of nonsense. But still, we're offering it up. Please help me. This is what I have inside of me. So what do they give? They give prema bhakti in response, by which our avidya, our ignorance, is removed. Guhyamakyati prichiti bhunte bhojayate chaiva. Then we offer them ingredients that you may utilize in the service of your beloved lords. And then that turns into mahaprasadam. Then it comes to them. They take that mahaprasad, as we spoke about the other day, and then it comes to us as mahaprasad. Bhunte bhojayate chaiva. Shadvidham priti lakshanam. Through these 6 interactions, love and affection, priti lakshanam, manifest and develop. And through this gradual development of love and affection, which begins through trust, through faith, more affection, more relationship develops. And then we have this natural inclination to want to give ourselves, give up ourselves, to submit and to surrender. Sudevi would like to add something in this case.
Just really quick. No,
don't do quick. This is important.
When I saw that question asked from David Didi, it just reminded me of a parent. I have seen how parents have to surrender their independence. Their lives completely change, and their whole life has to revolve around even the feeding schedule and the changing schedule and the bathing schedule of that baby. They give everything to it because love and relationship is there. No one has to teach it. You have to surrender. It's like automatic. Oh my God, my life is now changed. And now this particular personality is in my life, and I'm going to do the best thing I can for it. When we accept Guru into our lives, we accept so many different kinds of vows. I won't take all kinds of intoxication. I'll take good association. We make vows, and we have a relationship. And by following those vows, by chanting, by remembering, and really by praying, when we are chanting and we're praying from the core of our hearts to our Gurudev, we will get response. Otherwise, if there's no movement, if there's no response, if you don't see that mercy blossoming everywhere, how can we continue? It would be impossible. So I just wanted to add that little bit, is that when we have a mood of love and affection in our hearts, that Gurudev, you've given me your treasure. Kishori Mohan Prabhu was just saying how Gurudev, I don't know if my back is still okay. How Gurudev's treasure isn't money. So one time we were in the Fiji Islands with our Gurudev, and he had given many, many days, like maybe a week and a half of Harikatha, and people were coming from all over the different islands to hear from him. This very great sadhu has come. So on the last night of our Gurudev's program, there was a really long line of people going even out of the pandal. And there was a man with a microphone, and each person in line would come up to the man with the microphone and tell him something. And then he would make an announcement.
such and such family is now donating this much money to this Maharaj, to Sri Narayan Maharaj. And then they would go in front of Gurudev with that donation and put it in front of him. And after some time, I mean, it was a line of people. There was a huge pile of money in front of Gurudev. And Gurudev was accepting it and blessing each person that came. Very good, very good. You know, they'd bring their children, he would pet them. Very good, very good. And then afterwards, Gurudev looked at all of it and he said, this is proper. This is the right thing. He said, what you value in this world, what you work so hard day and night for, you've tried to reciprocate with me, with that thing, this big pile of paper. You're trying to reciprocate your wealth with me because I have given you the wealth of my heart. And then he says, but what can I do with all of this? What will I do with this, all of this paper? And then he held out his sannyas cloth and he said, I am a sannyasi. I have no pockets. And everyone was looking at him like, what? And then he said, I have no home. I can't bury my treasure underneath my house in different places. And they would do that. They would bury their money in different places and forget where they would put it. He said, I have no place to bury it. He said, everywhere I go, Krishna is fully sustaining me and maintaining me. I have a place to stay every night. I have prasadam. I have association. What can I do with all of this? He said, so you've given me your treasure and I accept it. And now I'm giving it back. I'm giving it to the mandir and they should use it in the service of Thakurji. They should use it in the service of the deity and don't use it for any nonsense purpose. And then Gurudev got up and walked away and everyone was standing there like shocked. And the main person of the temple came up and he said, really, your guru is great? Your guru is so great. Never in the history of our mandir, 200 years or something, never has anyone given the pranami back. Really, he's great. And we were looking at him saying, that's not the great thing that he was trying to show you. He gave the treasure of his heart. He came and he sat down day after day, engaging us in kirtan, telling us what Krishna is doing, when he's doing it, how he's doing it, and how we can reach Krishna in a loving relationship, which is natural and intrinsic to our own heart. But again, we look at that pile of paper and think, wow, how great is he? He left the paper. No, wrong. When we begin to realize how much Sri Guru is doing for us, when we begin to see, if you even think about it, Kishori Mohan Prabhu says it almost every day, how Srila Gurudev said that Guru is more than millions of mothers of this world. Think about one mother, how they would give their life again and again for their child. How they give their blood, their energy, their blood in the form of their breast milk. They give everything for that child. And Guru is more than millions of that mother. And then imagine for a moment what he is doing for the Jivatma. And we don't understand, like that baby doesn't understand that you're giving your life to it, that you've given up all of your friends, you can't go out anymore, you have to go by a schedule, you have to feed it and love it and cherish it and grow it and make sure everything is good for that child. It has no idea. It's only crying and screaming. Feed me, clean me, do this for me, give me this, give me that. And that's what we do with Gurudev. Give me your mercy, but what kind of mercy? Not money, not material things. Guru is here to give the mercy of Krishna. He is that mercy form. He is the representative of Krishna's mercy moving in this world. And if we can meditate on that when we are chanting our Harinam, that Sri Guru is that Paramatma that has stepped outside of my own heart. My own heart has manifested in front of me. My own prayer, my own calling has manifested in the form of my Gurudev. And he is more than millions of mothers. I don't know what my mother had to do for me. First carrying me for all those months, and I'm sucking all of the energy from her. We don't understand what we're doing. It's just like something biological going on. We think like that with Gurudev. I don't know what he's doing for me. How is it that Gurudev says we don't understand how much hard endeavor Guru takes to liberate even one jiva from this world? Because we think we're the ones doing it. But I'm the one getting up in the morning. I'm the one picking up my mala, doing the dishes and cooking and doing. I'm doing it. Gurudev, what are you talking about? How are you working so hard? I feel like I'm doing it. It's because we're actually not connecting in love and affection and devotion. We're not really meditating on what Sri Guru has given us. Gurudev said, if we will understand even a smell, like incense from another place, and that scent, that sweet scent will come to us. If we will understand even that much, a slight scent of what Guru is giving us, then our life will be successful. So our meditation as disciples is to try to connect with our Gurudev in love and affection. And automatically, there's no question of how to surrender. It's, what can I do to please you? How can I please you? What can I do? What more? Is there any seva I can do? And maybe not even having to ask, but looking around and seeing, look at how much service there is for me to do. Gurudev, you're so merciful. You're opening my eyes to this, and I see in all directions nothing but opportunities that you are giving me to serve you. And in that service, we will gain appreciation. And then when we appreciate what our Gurudev is giving us, then we will be able to enter into bhakti, into relationship with Gurudev, and we will be able to love Radha and Krishna. Our Gurudev said, if we cannot cry for our Gurudev, then we can never cry for Radha and Krishna. Because Guru is Krishna Kripa Shri Murti. He is the mercy form of Krishna. If we're not crying for him, but we think we're crying for that Krishna who is engaged in Leela with Srimati Radhika, we are in illusion, deep-seated illusion. Guru has manifested in front of us, and if not, then we need to cry and pray. We can't cheat Paramatma. He knows our every waking and sleeping moment. He knows what is going on in our subconscious mind. He knows what is going on behind closed doors. We can't hide anything. Even what we can't hide from ourselves, from our millions of lifetimes of desires, Paramatma is witnessing and knows. But he begins to become active when we begin to pray sincerely. I really do need help. I really do need your mercy. I'm seeing that slowly my life is slipping away from me. And I'm only calling out to you, hey Gurudev, Kripa Karke, please give me your mercy. Kripa Bindu Diya, just give me one drop of Shraddha. This is our prayer, and this is the gift of Gurudev. What is a drop of Shraddha? It is a drop of praying. It is the beginning spark of pure love for Krishna. And automatically surrender comes. Surrender means I trust you. Like a baby automatically has to trust when their parent picks them up. They love them. They're not going to throw them or drop them. They trust them and they hold on to them. This is our necessity, to hold on to our Gurudev. How? By following his moods, his words, his conceptions and his teachings, and the teachings of our Guru Varg. He told me to hold on to his little finger like a little baby and don't let go. And then I was crying and he said, don't let go. And that means to follow, to hold on, no matter what's going on around you. Like a baby holding on to their parent. Don't let go. And automatically trust is there. It's not something we need to think about. How can I trust you? When we begin to follow the way our Guru Varg have given us, the way our Gurudev has told us to, the way our Srila Prabhupada has taught us the science of Krishna consciousness, but with mood, automatically a mood will enter the heart. What more can I do? How can I serve you? How can I love you? Not how can I surrender and how can I trust, but what more can I do? Please engage me in your loving seva.
In this context, can you tell what Gurudev said in terms of Sambandha? Remember, because it also applies perfectly here.
So many years ago, like 20 some odd years ago, we were in the Fiji Islands and Gurudev had come. And we were on a separate island from Gurudev, but we had taken a 24-hour ferry boat across, actually a cargo ship. And it took 24 hours. It gave us so much appreciation for Srila Prabhupada being on a boat for 30 days. One night is enough to kill you for a week. So we took this cargo ship over and we had been preaching to some of the people who are working for us on our 300-acre farm. And which we don't have. Gurudev told us to leave it. He said, leave it, don't take anything from it. I want you to leave it and to travel and inspire on my behalf. And so we ended up walking away from it and not taking a penny and never seeing it again. But at that time, we were working, and I was supposed to be a millionaire and live in a big house and all these crazy things. And Gurudev just said, leave it, like it's nothing. And so one of our workers, he came, and he wanted to meet Gurudev. So when he arrived, we were so excited. Oh, our foreman of the worker of the farm, he came to meet Gurudev, and he underwent so much endeavor to come. So we immediately went to Gurudev's room and told him, Srila Gurudev, he came, and it was a big endeavor. He was not very wealthy. And so Gurudev was like, call him in immediately. So we brought him in and we sat down in Gurudev's room to watch this interaction in his darshan. And this young man, his name was Uttam, and he asked our Gurudev, please will you give me Harinam? And Gurudev looked at me and said, oh, you want me to initiate you? You want Hare Krishna? He said, yes. And then immediately he began to quote Haridas Thakur. And he said, you can cut my body into thousands of pieces, but yet I will never give up the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. He quoted the Sanskrit. He memorized that verse in Gurudev in Bangla. And Gurudev started to smile and he said, oh, can you do this? That someone will cut you in 1,000 pieces, but you will continue to chant? And he looked at Gurudev and he said, yes, yes, I can do it. And Gurudev started to laugh and he said, no, you cannot. And then he told a sweet story. He said, once there was a man and he had an arranged marriage. Never before had he seen his bride-to-be. Only on the day of his marriage did he see his newly bride, his new wife, for the first time. And then Gurudev said, but 3 months into that marriage, this new bride, she became sick. And so her husband began to bring her to so many different doctors. Please help my wife, she's sick. But no doctor could understand what was wrong with her. Finally, After no doctor could cure her, he began to stay home and stop working so that he could himself take care of her. Gurudev said very soon he became a beggar in the street. Oh, please help me, help me. My wife is dying, she's dying. Please help me, give me help. And then he said previously, 3 months previous to this girl could have died and he wouldn't have minded. It wouldn't have mattered to him at all. And he said, but now, because sambandha is there, it means relationship is there. Now he has relationship with her, even it's only 3 months. Now he is willing to become a beggar in the street for her. He said, when you have relationship with Harinam and with Gurudev like this, when you have relationship, then you will be willing to become a beggar in the street for Guru and Krishna. Then you can chant like this. And then Gurudev mercifully bestowed upon him the holy name of Krishna. But this is the point. Sambandha, relationship. Gurudev has already given it. From his side, he has given us everything. They've given us Shastra. He's given us Thakurji. He's given us Harinam and Mantra. He's done Pran Pratishta. You know, when they install the deity, now Krishna resides in that form. He has done that same thing in our heart. Krishna is now there and he's waiting for you. What are you waiting for? Gurudev has given himself in the form of Guru Mantra, Guru Gayatri. He has given Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna in the form of Gora Mantra, Gora Gayatri, and Gopal Mantra, and Kam Gayatri, Brahma Gayatri. He's given everything. What are we waiting for? It is only our own weakness. And the only way out of that is through chanting and praying. Help me. I am so helpless that I don't even want to cry for this. That is how desperate I am in need of your mercy. And then cry and pray. Go into a place where no one can see you and scream for your Gurudev. I promise you, if you will do that, you will cry. Without doubt, cry and pray. Gurudev will hear us. He's not bound by time and space. He's not bound like us, like these material bodies. He is transcendental, Sakshat Hari. He is the mercy form of Krishna, and he heard us. He appeared as Srila Prabhupada and traveled the world and gave Krishna. He appeared as our Gurudev, as Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj, as so many great Vaishnavas. Why, oh why don't I want their mercy? Oh Gurudev, oh God, help me, help me.
So as we've heard, the essence of devotional surrender comes through depth of relationship, which is formed through trust, through faith, and through seva, through service. When that comes, then one can give their head, their own life, in the service of their Gurudev. There's a beautiful example that Srila Gurudev gives, and we always hear it on the appearance or disappearance of Sri Ramanuja Acharya. He had some disciples, wealthy disciples, and he sent his followers to go see these wealthy disciples that maybe they can host them and give them prasad. So they went to their house. These wealthy disciples received the message from these other disciples but never responded. So they didn't know what to do. So then they went to the house of some very poor disciples. And those poor disciples, who was present there? Only this man's wife. And she was so poor she didn't even have any cloth. They had one cloth between them. So he would go out, her husband would go out to beg, wearing that cloth, and she would be at home with nothing. So Sri Ramanujacharya came to the door. This is her Gurudev. But she couldn't even welcome him properly, offer pranam. He understood everything, so he gave his own cloth. Here, take this. So she took that, she covered herself, and she invited them in. And she wanted to serve them prasad, but she didn't have anything. She had nothing. And so she asked them, you can rest, take some time, I'll prepare everything. So Ramanujacharya and his disciples were resting. And she was thinking, how can I serve my Gurudev and his disciples? If I cannot serve them, then this life is useless. This life is useless. So what did she do? She remembered there was some neighbor down the street, very lusty neighbor, who was always kind of making eyes at her and kind of petitioning to her. Very lusty fellow. And he was quite wealthy. So she thought, if I cannot serve my Gurudev, if I cannot serve his disciples, then this body and this life is useless. So let me go and beg from that person. So she went to that person and told him, this wealthy, lusty person, I will fulfill your desires, but please help me, assist me to serve my Gurudev and his disciples. So the man provided all of the vegetables, all of the grains, and all facility so that she could serve. So she promised that she would be back later. And she took all of those substances and she went back to her place, prepared a beautiful big feast, served her Gurudev and all of the Vaishnavas. They were very happy, very satisfied. And then they took prasad. Afterwards, she cleaned up everything and they were all nicely resting. At that time, her husband came home. Oh my God, our Gurudev is here. All of our senior godbrothers are here. We should serve them, we should feed them. She said, everything has already been taken care of. He said, but how did you do it? She said, I realized that my body, the only purpose of my body is to serve my Gurudev. And if I could not do so, then my life would be useless. So that man who was always lusting after me, I promised that I would fulfill his desires. Husband said to her, when are you supposed to do that? She said, this evening. He said, I will come with you. So her husband, with his mood of devotion to his Gurudev, went with his wife to bring his wife to that person to help fulfill this promise. When they arrived there, it was a very stormy night, very difficult situation. And she arrived at the door of this lusty man. And he said, how did you get here? She said, oh, my husband brought me. He said, what? She said, yes, my husband brought me. And also, my Gurudev has sent some prasadam for you. The Ramanujacharya had sent some Mahaprasad for this lusty fellow. So immediately he took that first, he took the Mahaprasad, and he was thinking, what, your husband brought you? What's going on here? He took the Mahaprasad. At that moment, by the mercy of Ramanujacharya, his heart was completely changed. He began begging forgiveness from her. I'm so sorry for what I have done and my intention toward you. I'm such a lusty, low fellow. What have I done? You're such a great devotee. Please bring me to your Gurudev. I wish to take shelter at his lotus feet. And so by this mood of dedication to the service of her Gurudev, willing to utilize her body, everything in the service of her Gurudev, at that point, this man came and took full shelter of Sri Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya accepted him as his disciple and gave him all shelter and removed all of his ignorance, his avidya and his lust.
Some devotees are complaining about the sound. Can you ask if it's okay?
Is the sound okay now?
It might just be my voice because it's so loud.
Or was the sound just peaking when Sudevi was speaking? I can't see what's going on. You have to be in charge over there.
I just saw it. I just saw a couple of comments saying something about the sound.
Let me see.
Is the sound okay? They're saying it's okay now.
Okay.
Thank you.
So our Gurudev would tell this as an example of surrender. our Gurudev himself, when he came to his Gurudev, he told our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, all of the affection, all of the attachment I had to my wife, my children, my home, my family, my mother and father, my brothers and sisters, my village, my position, everything, I have now collected in one place, and I'm offering everything at your lotus feet. He said at that time, tears came to the eyes of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. And he said to our Gurudev, until now I have not heard this from anyone. And Gurudev said, because of this, and his Gurudev's mood of reciprocation, he said, because of this, some little come to me by which I am able to travel and preach all over the world successfully. Because of this. And Sudevi asked him, I heard that you contracted tuberculosis, Gurudev. When you were taking care of and serving Ananga Mohan Brahmachari. Ananga Mohan Brahmachari was very near and dear servant, sevak of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. And he had contracted tuberculosis. So at that time, tuberculosis was not really curable. It was a death sentence. And it was very easy to contract. No one wanted to go near Ananga Mohan Brahmachari. He had blood coming out. He was coughing. He was in a very, very severe situation. So who was taking care of him? That Guru who is more than millions of mothers. Srila Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj was lovingly taking care of this disciple of his. With so much affection, cleaning up his blood, nurturing him, giving him some comfort, cleaning up and looking after him and maintaining everything. And all of the other disciples were afraid. But then our Gurudev, he realized, he said, my Gurudev, he can do so many other sevas. I should take his position. I should take his place in this seva. So he went to his Gurudev. Oh my Gurudev, you have so many important services that you should and could be doing. I will take over the service of looking after Ananga Mohan Brahmachari. So our Gurudev took over that service, risking his own life, so that his Gurudev can do other services, be free to do other services. And our Gurudev had contracted tuberculosis from that. But he saw that this Ananga Mohan Brahmachari was so near and dear, so dedicated. As he was leaving this world, Ananga Mohan Brahmachari began calling out to his Gurudev, and then Radha and Krishna. That, oh, you have come.
They are calling me.
They're calling me. Radha and Krishna are calling, Radha and Krishna are calling. Our Gurudev said at that point, he grabbed the feet of Ananga Mohan Brahmachari, held them to his heart and begged him, please, when you get there, remember me to them. Remember me. Mention my name. Don't leave me like this. So he was praying to Ananga Mohan Brahmachari. But our Gurudev had contracted tuberculosis in the service of his Gurudev. And Sudevi was looking at him like this. And Gurudev said, we gave our heads in the service of our Gurudev.
And I started crying and he said, now you are understanding something.
She started crying. Tears came to her eyes and he said, now you are understanding something. And then she said, but how did you cure it? And he said, oh, some little homeopathic. Homeopathic is not generally considered a cure for tuberculosis. But anyhow, he had contracted it. He risked his life. He could have given up his life, not serving his Gurudev directly, but serving his own godbrother, the disciple of his Gurudev. Giving his life in the service of his Gurudev. So this is very symptomatic of what is devotional surrender. It's when your affection is so great and so deep, and your feeling of indebtedness to your Gurudev is so deep and so great, that you feel that I cannot repay you with anything. There's nothing within my treasure house that is satisfactory enough to repay you for what you are giving me. Except for myself, I am yours. this heart, this mind, this intelligence, this body, these words, all of these actions, this soul is dedicated at your lotus feet. Manasa deho geho joki chumor arpilu tuvapade nanda kishor. Everything that I consider mine, this is yours. This comes with relationship. Vishnam mena guru seva. Deep relationship. This brings about devotional surrender, where I will give my life thousands and millions of times. And what is this training for, really? What is the mood of the gopis in relation to Krishna? When Narad Muni came to Vrindavan on the order of Krishna, searching for anyone who would give the dust from their feet for Krishna's headache. Because Krishna said, after all of the other doctors failed, Krishna said, the only cure for my headache is the dust from the feet of my devotees. Narad Muni went everywhere in Dwarka. No, we can't give our foot dust. The wives of Krishna, the queens, said, no, he's our husband. We cannot give our foot dust to our husband's head. These days, it's not a big deal. But in those days, when people were following their dharmas properly, a woman would never give her foot dust to the head of her husband. In the same way that we would never give our foot dust to the head of our Guru or Krishna. So, Narada Muni went to everyone in Dwarka. They were like, he's our husband, he's the Supreme Lord, he's God. No way, we'll go to hell. We cannot do it. So then Krishna told Narada Muni, go to Vrindavan. There at Vrindavan, waiting on the edge, looking in the direction from which Krishna had departed, were millions of gopis. Because Krishna promised them, I will return in 2 days or 4. If he would have said, don't wait for me, I'm never coming, immediately they would have given up their lives. Because what would be the purpose? But because Krishna said, I will return in 2 days or 4, they were thinking, if we give up our lives and then Krishna comes back and we're all gone, it will create so much pain in his heart. So, never mind, we are burning in a fire of separation that feels like millions of lifetimes in hell. Still, we will maintain our lives for Krishna's sake, so that it doesn't cause him any disturbance. So they maintain their lives in that situation, in the burning fire of separation. Narada Muni came from the direction of Dwarka. Immediately they offered their pranam, O Narad, have you seen Krishna? Yes, I have seen Krishna. What is he doing? How is he? Please give us any news. Oh, just now, he has a terrible headache. Immediately, their concern was, as it always was, only exclusively for Krishna, for his happiness, for his benefit, for his pleasure. Is there anything we can do? Anything at all? Narada Muni said, Krishna said that the only cure for his headache is the foot dust of his pure devotee, of his devotees. Then they began to philosophize. Well, Krishna says that wherever his devotees are present, that he is always present, but he's left us. Therefore, we must not really be his devotees. This is the humility of the real devotee. Their humility makes them feel that we have nothing. I am nothing. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is he saying? Nam namakari bahudani jasarva shaktis tatra pitani mita smaranena kala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaivam idrisham ihajani nanuraga. All potency is present within the names of Krishna. Anything can be had by the names of Krishna. But myself, I am so low, I am so fallen, I am so unfortunate, Durdaivam, that I have no attraction to the names of Krishna. We know that he is Krishna himself, in the mood of Srimati Radhika, tasting that prem ras, but yet he's expressing this mood, this sentiment. This is humility. He's feeling like this in his own heart, and this mood somehow is so attractive to Krishna. So, these gopis are feeling, I don't have any love and affection for Krishna. Otherwise he would be here, but he has left. But maybe all of us combined, because we do have something, we have some affection for Krishna, but we're not really his devotees. But we have some affection. Maybe all of us combined might equal one devotee. They're very simple. The gopis of Vrindavan are very simple. So immediately they sat down in the dust of Vrindavan and began taking the dust of Vraj and rubbing it in their feet and placing it in a pile. Millions and millions. Taking that dust, rubbing it in their feet and putting it in a big pile. Narada Muni, by his mystic power, was able to collect all of that dust into his special sack. Before departing, he asked the gopis, aren't you afraid to go to hell? That you're giving the dust from your feet to the head of Krishna? Aren't you afraid to go to hell? They said, what is hell? Hell is when Krishna is not happy. We would gladly suffer in hell for an eternity. Millions of lifetimes, as long as Krishna is okay. Narada Muni realized at that point, that's why Krishna sent me here. To see the greatness of the love of the gopis over all others. That they're willing to give anything for Krishna, for his happiness, for his benefit. Anya bhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavrtam. Not expecting anything in return. Anukulena Krishna anushilanam. What is favorable for Krishna? What is beneficial for him? What is for his happiness? This is pure bhakti. This is their mood. Complete, utter dedication. And this mood is developed first in relationship with Sri Guru.
Harsha Attavani is asking how to develop this sambandha with Gurudev Prabhu. So it's perfect timing. You just said that.
I don't know if you were here in the beginning of when we started speaking, but we were discussing that this sambandha comes with trust. After examination, sambandha means relationship. Just as any relationship in this world might start. Doesn't mean a physical relationship. But as any relationship in this world will begin, you get to know someone gradually. You see their character, you see their qualities, you associate, you examine. And then after some time, trust develops. Then you start to be able to share the intimate things of your heart with such a person. And as that trust develops more and more, as that relationship begins to become more deep, then a sense of mamata comes. You're mine and I'm yours. And you will defend each other to the death if necessary. Maybe you didn't know each other a month before, but you developed a relationship. So much so that if that person is in danger, you would jump in front of them and block that danger from them. This affection develops. Through trust, through connection, through communication, through mutual service, through mamata, through relationship. And naturally, you will be willing to give your life for that person. This is called devotional surrender. From the Guru, of course, through hearing Harikatha. And then we can say, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. How can you surrender first? Arjuna didn't surrender immediately. Arjuna was given all of the evidence, all of the proof, and then he was like, yes, I am a soul completely surrendered unto you. At this point, pranipatena, he realized, I am lost. I don't know which way to go. Just like us, we don't know which way to go. We have been bound in samsara since time without beginning. And until now, we have not been able to free ourselves. Trillions and trillions and trillions of lifetimes, undergoing the repetition of birth, disease, old age, and death, and a hopeless spiral. Finally, hope has come. We chant that prayer, Gurudev kripa karke mujhko apna lena. Nisharna para teri चरणों में जगा देना मेरे नाव भावर डोले उसे पार लगा देना. I'm in a whirlpool. I'm drowning in an ocean. I'm being tossed and turned in all directions. So many dangerous creatures are coming, trying to take bites out of me from all directions at all times. Gurudev is that security. Gurudev is that lotus flower by which we can take shelter. Srila Govinda Maharaj speaks about the bumblebee going into the ketki flower. It's very attractive. It has a nice fragrance, but it's full of so many sharp thorns. And that bumblebee is trying to get there, but the thorns are ripping its wings apart. And it needs shelter. Finally, it takes shelter in something very soft, very sweet, full of nectar. Padma Madhu, the nectar of the lotus flower. This is Sri Guru Charana Padma, taking shelter of the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev, of Sri Guru. That bumblebee goes to that lotus flower, and there he is, completely nourished. He feels cooled. His wings are able to regrow. He's able to receive shelter. So we're in this situation, being tossed and turned, drowning. But Guru comes, mere nao bhavar dole, use par laga dena. He rescues us from this terrible ocean, Bhavasagar. Samashrita padapallavaplavam mahapadam punyesho murare bhavambudir vatsapadam padam 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 yadvi padam natesham. For that person who surrenders unto Guru, unto Krishna, taking shelter of Sri Guru, Mahatpada, Punya, Yashomurare. This entire ocean of material existence, which Gurudev says is like a blazing fire, oil fire. That's Gurudev compared it to that. Becomes as insignificant as the water in the hoofprint of a calf. Very easily one can cross over it by taking shelter of Sri Guru, allowing Sri Guru to be our captain. That's why we say, Srila Gurudev ki jai. You are my captain. May you be victorious over my nonsense. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Rupananda Guru Varga ki jai. Pati Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Prem Purushottam Shachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai. You take over. I've been trying to be the king of this castle for a long time, and I just keep getting attacked again and again and again, and now I'm getting starved out. You know, they would surround the castle, stop any ingredients from going in. We only have our temporary amount of supplies. They wait until we become weak, and then Kam, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all of these attack us from all sides, plunder our wealth, take our mind, our attention, everything, to everything which is not favorable for the awakening of my soul's love and affection to Krishna. At that point, I have no one to call out to. Swarupam, Sri Rupam, Sahagana, Tatsyagrajamapi. Sri Raghunath Goswami says, at that time, when you're walking down the open road and all of these rogues, these thieves, these dacoits are attacking you, the only thing we can do is call out loudly for the great generals, those great generals on the path of bhakti. That is our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, the Vaishnavas. Be merciful to me, help me. And when they come and they defeat all of those dacoits, all of those enemy rogues, we cannot then sit on the throne. We need to put that person who has saved my life in the place of prominence. We need to put them on the throne. When they're on the throne, then we become their servant. Tadvidhi pranipatena, I am yours. I will do what you want. Now what should I do? Pariprashna, relevant inquiry. Swapriya charana kinkarin kuru. We pray this to Krishna, but also first to Gurudev. Kinkarin kuru, what can I do? How can I serve you? What should I do? Now I've come this way. Now, please instruct me. And then Gurudev gives instruction. Then, following that instruction, doing that thing which is actually for our own benefit, but following the instruction of Gurudev, this is the best kind of sevaya, seva. We can give fruit, we can give money, But Gurudev doesn't really need our fruit and money. Gurudev has the fruit of everything. Prem. Prema Phal, the fruit of loving service to Sri Radha and Krishna. What does he really need with our fruit and money? This is only to help us build our bhakti sukriti. What does he want? He wants our loyalty. He wants us to offer our independence, that one thing that we think is the most treasured asset. That thing in the eternal service of Sri Radha and Krishna. He wants to purify it first, so we first must give it to him. He will take that, put it in his pocket, as Gurudev would always say, then make it qualified, purified, and then offer it unto the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna. We have to give the key as well. Gurudev said, you're giving me your heart, which is like a locked chest, but you're not giving the key. Give the key as well. Gurudev, I'm trusting you. This trust comes through relationship, through vigilance. We should not be foolish. We should not be blind. We should see what is the nature, what is the quality, what is the character of Gurudev. How they are engaging exclusively 100% in the loving service of the Lord, not engaging any time in anything else other than bhakti. And how to encourage all souls in their service to Guru Gauranga, Radha and Krishna. So Sevaya means to serve their inner heart's desire for our own benefit, to follow their instructions. But it also means that I have relationship, mamata, so I will do whatever I can. I will offer money. I will offer fruit. I will offer grains. I will offer myself. I will offer anything which comes in. That's why Bhaktivedanta Thakur says in this prayer, mind, body, family, manasa, deho, geho, jo kichu more, arpilo. I'm taking all of it and offering everything at your lotus feet. Anything that I thought was mine, I now understand it is all yours.
What did Gurudev say to Parma Gurudev?
I already told him.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Everything I'm offering at your lotus feet. Which means when they tell us to do something, not only will it be not a burden, it will be the greatest source of joy. Gurudev, as you want to use me, I will be used. That was the first instruction Gurudev gave me in 1996 when I came to India, in Sri Keshavji Gaudiya. He gave me an instruction before that, but the first one he gave me in India. He said, you should always sit right in front of me with any, he made that motion, means any keyboard, harmonium or keyboard, so that I can use you for kirtan whenever I like. What a concept. So that I can use you for kirtan whenever I like. That means I should understand, I should place myself as a tool for the use of Gurudev in his kirtan of Krishna. Allow myself to be that utilized as a tool in the service of Gurudev. This is loyalty or giving up one's own independent mood. I'm still praying for the day when that will fully manifest. But Gurudev said, I want you to always sit in front of me so that I can use you for kirtan whenever I like. And then he would say, kirtan. And then I would say, which one? He would say, Gauranga Bolite Habe. And I would start singing it. And then he would go, next part. And I would sing the next part. Then he would say, up. He would actually direct, bring it up. Now do this. Now, Hari Bol, now wind it up and finish. And I would just watch him carefully and just follow his guidance. Because he told me that he wanted to use me whenever he likes. We should pray, when will that day come? When I can become a selfless instrument in the service of my Gurudev, in the service of Gauranga, in the service of Radha and Krishna. In this case, Srila Gurudev said that Rupa Goswami was like the flute of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The flute is empty. So Mahaprabhu was able to give what he wanted through Rupa Goswami. what he was playing, that nectar of his heart was emanating through the mouth and the pen of Rupa Goswami. So if we can become like that, empty of any selfish desire, that you can use me as you like, then we will become Sat Sishya. We will become Sat Sishya. And this will be the most pleasing to Guru. When Guru sees that we're willing to give anything and everything for the service of Gurudev, then they will take that energy, that intention, and qualify that, and offer it up to the lotus feet of their Gurudev, who will offer it to their Gurudev like this. And each one will bring it up toward the service, ultimately, of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. So we have so much to hope for, starting with development of mamata, that I am yours and you are mine. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai, Srila Panuga Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Just so you know, I know that devotees are saying that the sound is coming in and out. We're trying to acquire a new phone so that we have something that's better quality. We're in the process of trying to do that, so please bear with us.
And once again, all of the subject we were discussing is directly related to the subject within this book.
The 30-year study.
Well, that question today, how does one surrender to Guru? Because we see that Gopkumar is surrendering to Guru, but this question is really the most essential, necessary question for us at this time. Yes, I want to get to that point. We see that he's doing this. He accepted the mantra, he had faith, he's following, it was spontaneous. How do I come to that platform of spontaneity? It is such an essential question, and it is so essential to contemplate this particular subject, especially for us here and now. Srila Gurudev said the subject of Guru Tattva is the most essential, most heavy subject in all of our scriptures. So it is absolutely necessary to ponder, to delve into, and to meditate on this subject if we really want to learn how to move forward on the path of bhakti. Because according to the 64 limbs of bhakti, the first 5 limbs mentioned by Rupa Goswami and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu are all related to surrender to Sri Guru. Starting with the first one, Ado Guru Padashraya. First of all, surrender at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. So we will continue with going beyond Vaikuntha tomorrow, starting with chapter 3.
And hopefully Sudevi will be with us.
Yes.
No. Jiva Pavana Prabhu added, offer yourself, not just the mango lecture from Gurudev.
Thank you.
They can go and check that out.
So many verifications from Srila Gurudeva on this point, and from Srila Prabhupada, and from all of our Guru Varga, really. So thank you, Prabhu, for adding that. I look forward to reading it just after. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
की जय, पति पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय, प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय, राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय, राधा रमण जू की जय, हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Vrindavan Bihari Lal
की जय 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 श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे.
Also asking your beautiful questions and for inspiring us. We look forward to being with you all tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam, Radhe Radhe. Thank you so much.